Good morning, everyone, and welcome to first session of TBD Women Entrepreneurs Online Forum today. My name is Oya Ersöz. I'm the TBD Team Leader and Project Director at EUROCHAMBERS. The TBD Turkey EU Business Dialogue Project has been implemented by EUROCHAMBERS in close cooperation with TOBB, the Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchange of Turkey. And during our implementation period, chambers from both Turkey and European Union are engaging in partnerships, dialogues, capacity building with over 100 activities, including high-level business dialogues, SME surveys, SME workshops, study visits, chamber academies, audits, and much more. And we are organizing today's Women Entrepreneurs Forum within the framework of TBD capacity building activities. And our first session will focus on the Women Entrepreneur Support Programs in the EU and Turkey. And it's a great pleasure to welcome you and such esteemed speakers today. Let me introduce our speakers and moderator. As moderator, we have Ms. Lida Kita. She is a specialist in vocational education and training and social inclusion at the European Training Foundation. And our panelists, I would like to introduce our panelists as well. Our first speaker will be Pınar Işın. She is the EU Coordination Director at COSGAP. COSGAP is the small and medium industry development organization in Turkey. And Ms. Melahat Güray from EU delegation to Turkey. She is the program manager, social policy and employment, program manager of social policy and employment. And we have here Ismail Haznedar. He is the president of GAIN Global Network. And next speaker will be Marian de Groot. She is the GCI Executive Vice President for Europe. And then we will listen Olena Beh. She is Senior Specialist in Human Capital Development at European Training Foundation. Thank you for joining us today. And before getting started, I would like to provide some technical information regarding the interpretation. And we have interpretation in 3 languages, Turkish, English, and Spanish. For those who would like to listen in English and Spanish, you should choose English and Spanish options respectively. But for those who would like to listen in Turkish, you should choose Korean option. Türkçe dinlemek isteyenler aşağıda tercüme alanındaki Korece.
For Turkish interpretation, you need to use the Korean option in the Zoom options.
Of TBD, TOBB, and EUROCHAMBERS. You may find the link above your screen on those social media accounts to switch the language between English and Turkish. And I have a little reminder before we get started. At the end of our speech, we will have question and answer part. So if you have any question during the speeches, please type them into the chat box on Zoom or comment parts on the other social media accounts. If possible, with your name, institution, and also if you have any specific name in your mind, please mention it to whom you are directing your question, please. And now, without any further delay, I would like to give the floor to Lida. Lida, let's try if it works. Otherwise, I will take the floor. And it's a great pleasure to give the floor to Lida Kita from European Training Foundation. We cannot hear you, Lida. So without any delay, let's move on. And our first speaker is from Ms. Pınar Işın from COSGAP. And Pınar Hanım, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Oya. Distinguished representative of TOBB and EUROCHAMBERS, dear participants, I'm honored to be here today to present COSGAP, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Organization of Turkey. In terms of entrepreneurship, studies show us that women view entrepreneurship positively, but this potential in women is not reflected in life. The rate of women entrepreneurs is low, not only in Turkey, but also in Europe and in other countries. One of the main problems is access to finance and support. Today, we will talk together Women Entrepreneur Support Program in Turkey and in EU. In Turkey, support for women entrepreneurship is well articulated in Turkish policies. As a cross-sectoral policy issue, women's entrepreneurship is addressed in our development plan and strategy documents. These documents outline specific actions to encourage women entrepreneurs and to ensure availability of counseling and guidance for women entrepreneurs on business development. Measures to facilitate women access to state supports are planned and budgeted in COSGAP strategic plan, and COSGAP is in charge of implementation of the other strategic documents also on supporting women entrepreneurs. COSGAP, my organization, is the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Organization. It is the only public body established in 1990 to increase the competitiveness of the SMEs. We have a wide range of support services, and we provide services throughout Turkey with our application units and online. We have guidance services, counseling services, and support services from R&D to internalization, from access to finance to capacity building development. When it comes to entrepreneurship support, goals of the COSGAP Entrepreneurship Support Program is to develop entrepreneurship culture, to improve the knowledge and the skills of entrepreneurs, to promote the establishment and sustainability of new enterprises. Also, we aim to increase the survival rate of the newly established enterprise. To achieve those goals, we have some support items. Firstly, we start with the training programs. The first training programs, this is either a traditional one or an advanced training program. Actually, both includes 8 modules, basic modules and advanced modules. The entrepreneurship training have been performed since many years. Thanks to my organization and other organizations, we have cooperation and protocols to be signed. The training is now widespread in the economy. And since the last year, mid of last year, we are providing these training programs online. And these training programs are the first requirement to get supported, to be supported from COSGAP support. Coming to the support program, the traditional entrepreneur may receive around 8,000 euro from COSGAP for the establishment, for the cost of the establishment of their enterprises. And advanced entrepreneurs also may receive the same cost for employment and for the cost of the administrator for the establishment of their company. Additional to the traditional one, actually the traditional and the advanced entrepreneurs differs according to the technology level and according to the production type of their companies. And advanced entrepreneurs also may receive additional funding up to 40,000 euro. And we support up to 75% for their investment on machinery and software, and as well as for the guidance, counseling, and mentoring services. If the entrepreneur is a woman, then for the 2 years period, especially for the employment rate, we support some more amount and around 1,000 euros for year, they may receive more amount for their entrepreneurship project. Whenever an entrepreneur receives an entrepreneurship support from COSGAP and establish his or her own company, then it becomes eligible for other COSGAP support programs and may receive many different items and also may access to the finance credits with below interest rate of the markets. And also we are as well as support the establishment of the I continue, okay. And also we support the establishment of the technology and business incubator to promote entrepreneurship. As well as we have business plan rewards for different target groups, for university students, for the winners, second and third of the national and international technology-based entrepreneurship competition. As well as each year, we organize an SME and Entrepreneurship Award program. Additional to the different categories, also we award women entrepreneurship, and we strongly believe that the success of the women entrepreneurs encourage other women. Additional to the support program on EU level, we are the national coordinator of the European Enterprise Promotion Award, and as well as the European Network to Promote Women Entrepreneurship, WES Network since 2004. And within this network, we share our knowledge, we learn from each other, and we share experience with 31 countries, including EU countries and other countries. Coming to the EU, we are also the national coordinator of the COSME program. COSME program is the EU program for SMEs. The aim of the program is to increase the competitiveness of the SMEs and entrepreneurs. To achieve so, there are different components: access to finance, access to market, improving the framework conditions, and entrepreneurship components. Under COSME program, I guess most of you are familiar with the COSME program, mostly the members of the TOBB and EUROCHAMBERS. I imagine that you already implemented projects funded under COSME program. There are calls and projects under COSME, and these are generally on clustering, entrepreneurship, and tourism. The idea is to get together, to learn from each other, and these are mainly open for the intermediary organizations, the one either providing services to the SMEs and entrepreneurs or representing SMEs and entrepreneurs. But also I strongly encourage you to check COSME websites because it's a good source of information. From your Europe Business Portal, in which you may find useful information related to all European Union countries, from tax to environment issue. There are also IPR help desks for Europe, for South Asia, for South America, in which you may receive free of charge training and counseling services for your IPR issue. Another subject is EUROCHAMBRES Center, in which you may receive services free of charge to have relations, cooperation with your Japon partners. Additional to the calls and to the current available platforms, also there is European Enterprise Network within COSME program. It includes more than 60 countries with more than 600 organizations and more than 3,000 experts. The aim of these networks is to help SMEs to have technical and technological cooperation between their counterparts. And they provide you B2B events, they organize matchmaking events, they provide you advisory services. That's why I strongly encourage all of you to check the contact points, your Enterprise Europe Network coordinators and partners in your country and in your regions to be benefited from those services. As COSCEP, we cooperate nationally and internationally with public and private stakeholders. There are many public and private stakeholders who cooperate in awareness raising, in promotion, as well as developing and implementing a sustainable support system for women entrepreneurs in Turkey and in Europe. But there are still needs for improvement. And for the way forward, I strongly believe that improved education and training opportunities for women, create new gender responsive trade and government policies, government grants in favor of women, increase investor community contribution and responsibility, and place more women in decision-making process should be the ways to empower women. I would like to thank once again for this great opportunity to TOBB and EUROCHAMBERS team, and I hope it was useful for the participants. And I wish all success for this 2 days panel. I'm sure you will learn a lot from all speakers and share your experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, explanation for your remarks. And now I would like to continue with Melahat from EU delegation to Turkey.
Thank you very much, Oya Hanım. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I hope you can hear me and you can see my presentation. Okay, good. As the European Union delegation to Turkey, we do support women's economic empowerment in general and women employment and entrepreneurship in particular. So this webinar will be also very useful for us because these issues are at the top of our agenda as well. Now, for my part, I will first of all briefly mention about our policy framework on women entrepreneurship. Then I will give you some examples of our programs and projects on women entrepreneurship. Although we cannot hear the voice of our lovely moderator, Ms. Lida, I have her questions in my mind and I will try to answer them during my presentation.
Thank you.
Ah, we hear you now. Okay, good. Now let's begin with our policy framework on women entrepreneurship. As all you know, women's economic empowerment is one of the key policy objectives of the European Union, and women entrepreneurship is one of the main tools to women empowerment. Therefore, it is of course supported and promoted by the European Commission, not only at the community level, but also at the member states and candidate countries level, including Turkey. And our policy framework is, of course, in line with the entrepreneurship policy of the European Union, which is very comprehensive. First of all, we support companies, in particular SMEs, throughout their life cycle, because all we know that it is not only enough to support business startups, it is also very important to provide continuous support for business development. And secondly, we promote entrepreneurship skills and education at all levels. Skill development is one of the main components of the entrepreneurship policy of the EU. 14 years ago, the European Commission identified entrepreneurship as one of the main competences. And now we have the European qualification framework on entrepreneurship, which may be used as a source of the development of the curricula and educational programs. And it includes many learning outcomes. So skill development on entrepreneurship is also very important for us. And thirdly, reaching out people, reaching out women, because we know that like in many European Union countries, in Turkey as well, women represent a large pool of the entrepreneurship potential. So in line with these policy lines, we also do support networking and the exchange of experiences and practices. And I'm very happy to see that there is also a section in this webinar for women entrepreneurs themselves, because it's very important to learn about their own experiences and challenges in the field. So it is the general policy framework that we have on women entrepreneurship issue. Now let's look at what we do support in Turkey within this framework. As you know, there are many tools and modalities within the financial cooperation between the European Union and Turkey. Pınar Hanım also mentioned about some community programs. Yesterday, we also discussed about some community programs. There are other programs under our civil society program and other programs. But now today, I will focus on the instrument of pre-accession and the program on employment, education, and social policies that we have been implementing since 2007. The Ministry of Family, Labor and Social Services is the main operating structure of this program. So we are working very, very closely with them. They are managing this program. And when we look at this program from women economic empowerment and entrepreneurship perspective, we see that there is a very comprehensive intervention logic, which includes access to finance, know-how, networking, mentoring, and skill development as well. Because women's economic empowerment is defined as one of the main priority areas in the program. And it is a co-finance program with the contribution of the Turkish side as well. And we are working with different actors, with international financial institutions, public institutions, regional development agencies, and NGOs through grant schemes. Now let's look at what we did and what we are going to do. You can see some examples of the programs and projects like Women in Business Operation, promoting women's employment operation, which the Turkish employment agency İşkur was the implementing agency. some of the operations with the regional development agencies, and we have the new ones. Now, I would like to focus on some of them in detail. When we look at the Women in Business Operation, which was implemented by EBRD, we see that it has a very comprehensive and integrated project. I know that we have some colleagues from EBRD in this webinar too, so it may be very interesting to hear from them about their lessons learned and experiences during their implementation of this project, because we know that EBRD is implementing women in business operation in different countries as well. So it may be very interesting to see what are the peculiarities of Turkey in terms of women entrepreneurship and this program. I didn't put the, qualitative data, the number of women, the amount of money spent, etc. in this presentation. But we know that a lot of women participated to this project activities. Many women-led SMEs were supported with advisory services, especially in terms of ICT, digitalization, marketing, etc. And of course, one of the main tool of this project was establishing credit lines through some, financial instruments. And more than 287 million euro was extended by EBRD to lend women-led SMEs. So we have good and successful results of this project. And the second one I would like to mention is about Women Up Operation. It has a very long name, but I just put it like Women Up Operation. The beneficiary is the Social Security Institution. It is a new project. It will start hopefully next year. But the design and details of this project are still under review by taking into consideration of the impact of the COVID-19. So it will be one of our operations that will support women entrepreneurs after or maybe during the pandemic of the COVID-19. The main idea is that we are going to provide some wage subsidy to women-led companies on the condition that they employ women workers. So it is a kind of win-win situation. We will support women-led companies, and we will also support labor force participation and employment rate of women. It will be a kind of pilot project. So the eligibility conditions and the pilot provinces, all the details are under still discussion. That's why I didn't put them in my presentation. But I can advise you to follow up the websites of the Social Security Institution and the EU Department of the Ministry of Labor and our social media accounts for the details of this project. And of course, there will be some mentoring and networking activities as well to support this wage subsidy component of the project. And lastly, I tried to categorize our intervention like access to finance and know-how, support to companies, and skill development. Lastly, we have some projects with some regional development agencies and some NGOs, not specifically directed with the women entrepreneurship, but with more comprehensive projects, which includes also entrepreneurship skills development for women as well. We are also planning to support women cooperatives. Hopefully, it will also start hopefully next year. So I know that I don't have so much time, but we are trying to support all the efforts in terms of the access to finance, know-how, advisory and coaching services, as well as skill development in Turkey. And we are working very closely with the public institutions, as well as the NGOs and regional development agencies. But we all know that there is a long way in terms of women's empowerment and entrepreneurship in Turkey, as well as in many European Union countries. From my personal point of view, it's very important to provide some comprehensive packages, including all the dimensions that I mentioned during my presentation for the further projects. And lessons learned from women is also very important, in my opinion. I think women entrepreneurs should talk more than us, more than the, all the donor institutions or implementing agencies. And we should also not to forget about the drivers of change, the drivers of the future of work, such as technology, digitalization, ICT, for the future intervention. And lastly, I also put social entrepreneurship, because I think it's also an important issue that we have to invest much more. That's also so far. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I will be very happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Ms. Meyat Güray, for your remarks. And our next speaker in line is Mr. Ismail Haznedar. He is the president of TEBD Global Network. And the floor is yours, Ismail.
Sorry. So thank you very much, Oya. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you. I greet chair of the panel, dear Lida Tungacheta. Also, I greet all the friends, distinguished guests in this panel. This great opportunity for us as well to express on GAIN Global side what we are doing, as well as how we are contributing to entrepreneurship and also to women entrepreneurship. I have a short presentation. We'll go through it, emphasizing some points that I believe are important. What was the reason to initiate GAIN Global? And later on, what are the programs that we are running and what is the difference that we see that differentiates GAIN Global from different programs and activities? And I'll be glad to address other questions after the session. Mainly, after having a global experience on leadership in Junior Chamber International, that my partner will be talking more. I saw a gap of entrepreneurs supporting each other, because in different ecosystems, there are different tools and different sources, and the level of each is differentiating between countries, and discussed how we can build a network where we will be focusing on action and bring together different resources like supporters, investors, entrepreneurs, and to create a kind of a pool where we are empowering starters ecosystem. It will be open for individuals and corporates, but the main part is to have action-oriented approach. And GAIN Global was set up in 2016 with that understanding, bringing together starters, supporters, investors, and partners to create a kind of a startup club where everyone is sharing their resources, sharing their experience, as well as all the support that they can create for each other to grow together. All these four icons were representing different roles that I will talk in details. And as you are all aware, these roles can change. Sometimes you can be starter, and later on you can be easily a mentor who supports a corporation. And if you have enough funds, definitely you can be as well investor, and during time also accredited investor. So these roles are different roles that can be taken by our members, and currently we are experiencing that even sometimes some investors or supporters are turning to a starter or co-founder of an initiation or a program. What was the need? The need was definitely the understanding that entrepreneurs are drivers, initiators, are the ones who are taking ownership of the challenge. This was what I was observing and discovering throughout my journey to different countries, especially between young people, and seeing that around 5% of global population is entrepreneurs, putting everyone in one basket. So entrepreneurs are creating almost 4 or 5 billion jobs all around the world. But there's a huge gap, as you all are aware, the gap between friends and family and the funding that are required. And there are a lot of exercises to fill that gap. So why not we are fulfilling that gap by our own resources, actually, to create a group that is self-sufficient, that creates own resources throughout the journey. This was the idea. So the invitation was to meet, to act, and to impact together. So the core purpose of the network then was to enhance the investment opportunities by bringing like-minded members together to give them required educational opportunities, how to become a starter, how to become mentor, how to become trainer, how to become investor, as well as partner. And then have a structured way of assisting information development as well as funding this early stage cycle with cooperation, with partnership of partners in different areas. We started in 2016 with creating awareness. It was initially started in Istanbul, but main target was to expand that one around Turkey to different cities. Seeing that, for example, when we are talking about investment, if we are talking angel investing networks, they are focused in Istanbul. You don't see much accredited networks in different cities, or same applies for mentors. You don't see a mentors network in Adana or in Elazığ or in Ordu, but definitely there are experienced people who are able to initiate their businesses or are able to share their experiences. But after testing a year in Istanbul, then we were able to start to expand that one to 15 cities. And now we are very active in Osmaniye, in Nevşehir, and definitely in Izmir, Ankara, Istanbul, Bursa, Adana. They are like main cities. What we are doing, firstly, we are running seminars to create awareness. We are running talks or trainings, as you mentioned, to bring starters in front to hear their experience, their failures, how they succeed, or what were the challenges. Also, we are running workshops to bring the idea from idea to initiation on a new business phase, a step-by-step program where we are developing by contributing each other during that journey. The difference was that we were running all these programs physically. Due to pandemic now, we were able to adapt to digital world and now running the programs in online environment. So far, we're able to initiate almost 250 events with 2,500 participants. I will go in details how the structure was running. We say that it should be a kind of a franchise concept. We have to copy each other. So a good chapter in Istanbul has to teach all the experience to another one, an initiator actually, in order to run a kind of a chapter in their cities where they bring together the network, the 4 different roles, starters, supports, investors, and partners. The first challenge was that we have initiators, we have the leaders who would like to start these groups, but they were saying we don't have mentors, we don't have investors in our city. But after a couple of meetings, after a couple of activities, then suddenly they are able really to discover that there are a good number of people who are ready to support, who are ready to invest or be part of this kind of activities. And mainly, as mentioned, the events are based on sharing know-how, resources through workshops and meetups. The difference was, I believe, in the values, because we know the core target, the purpose and the need. Later on, we start to work on the values of Gain Global. So it had to be an open environment, open, trustable, simple, innovative way approach in order to copy that one to 15 cities. Otherwise, you are not able to run a program in Osmaniye or to run a program in Nevşehir, in a small town comparably. In Nevşehir, we have just 100,000 citizens, while in other cities we may have 1 million or more. Second one is it requires to be a friendly environment and a long-term environment. This is not a place, a program that they are joining just for an event or just for a year. It's like a lifetime partnership in order to make it possible for everyone to make their dreams come true. As statistics shows, 9 out of 10 initiations are not able to reach their goals or targets. So this means failure is good. Then let's applaud each other and continue to fail, but to succeed for 1 out of 10 together in order to build that environment. So it required the collaborative approach as well as sustainable approach. Sustainability, I believe, is important. Last week we had a forum, a global forum, with 250 participants from different cities. Still, what is the primary requirement? What you need initially? We had a questionnaire, and the answer was funds. But all of our speakers were emphasizing that the good idea or good business model or good network is more important and brings the fund. Technically, the funding or the money would not be the primary, the first step required. Here as well, we experienced that one. When we have a good team, when we have a good network or good access to different partners, we see that the access to finance or access to funding is really easy and possible. But more important is to have that team, to have that good idea, good structure, and to have a reliable partners environment where you don't feel yourself alone, and to run that one for a long-term journey and partnership. In program, we are differentiating program as well to 3 categories. Specific program for woman entrepreneur, kadın girişimci programı, youth entrepreneur, genç girişimci programı, and social entrepreneur, sosyal girişimci programı. We always are accepting applications throughout the year. It's open, and usually it's directed by our leaders in the different cities. When they meet, when they hear, or when they are receiving some projects, definitely they direct that one to application page. Then we are inviting to a workshop. Monthly, we are running a workshop where we meet and we discuss. We have the chance first time to understand what we can do together. Then we welcome to our program, as mentioned, to kadın girişimci, genç girişimci, or sosyal girişimci. An online program currently run for almost 10 to 12 weeks. That includes training, mentoring, networking with seed capital and program access to resources required in order to bring their ideas to the first phase. Finally, we have a kind of a graduation program where they are able to present their ideas to our angel network or to angel investors outside our network as well, to partners also. We see that this kind of program builds the boundaries, as well as when they feel that they are working for a long time, then it and has access to different resources from different cities, then they feel more comfortable. Also seeing that they have also opportunity to contribute, become partners while they are developing their own ideas, to be co-founder or mentor to others as well. It's a two-way win-win situation during the journey. So far, in last 2 years, this is something that we apply. Now, last 6 months, we do that one online as well. We don't see much difference so far. We see that still the impact is there. Still the contribution is there, and it keeps people connected. I will finalize my share with maybe the main driver for us was to do. So we hear, we forget, we see, we remember, but we are a part of a club or a group where we are practicing that one. And this is the place where we definitely, every day we practice mentoring, we practice entrepreneurship, as well as we practice education and investment opportunities. Then it's clearly, I believe, we are bridging the gap between awareness and the next step, that is to create success stories. And Gain Global contributes now in 15 cities. I thank you once more for the opportunity. I hope that we can build further. I was excited to hear 2021 programs, also looking forward for new announcements. Thank you very much, Oya, for opportunity.
Thank you very much for your introductory remarks, and that's great to hear about Gain Global. And even we have received some questions on how to open a Gain Global network branch in a city, and about the sustainable financing and how to complete the system as an accelerator. But let me finalize the first round, and then we will continue with the questions, and then we may discuss there. We are out of time. But thank you for your
yes, with pleasure.
presentation.
Yes.
And now I would like to give the floor Megan de Groot. And the floor is yours, GCI Executive Vice President for Europe. Please, Megan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Indeed, I represent the organization JCI, Junior Chamber International. Ismail just referred to it as well. And Junior Chamber International is an organization that was founded in 1915 in the United States, originally as an organization for young entrepreneurs. So Junior Chamber International comes from the Chamber of Commerce. So it used to be the Junior Chamber of Commerce. Entrepreneurs below the age of 40 could join the organization. When they registered at the Chamber of Commerce, they could then join this club of young people. And after some time, these people, it was first just a network, just for some drinks and some fun. And they thought maybe with our talents and strengths, we could do something back for the society. So with that, it has become an organization that not only connects entrepreneurial people, but also does something good for their community. During the course of the years, it has become an organization not exclusively for entrepreneurs, but more for entrepreneurial people who want to develop their leadership skills. And we do this not by just telling you how to be a leader, but it's all about learning by doing. And this organization, it's a global organization. I'll tell you a little bit about the structure. So it is worldwide in about 120 countries. And these countries all have a national organization, but most importantly is the local organization. So pretty much every city has a local organization that is connected to that national organization. These local organizations, it can be a group of 20 people or 100 people, or sometimes even 1,000 people. They organize projects, they organize events, and they have a local board. So if you're a member of that organization, you can learn by doing, by becoming a member of the board, by becoming the local president, by organizing a project, by setting up some charity project or something like that. And then when you want to grow your leadership skills further, you can also join the national board. And after that, you can even join the international board. And this year, I'm the executive vice president for Europe. And this, like every position I just mentioned, is a position for 1 year. So the goal of having these positions is really to experience what it's like to be a leader of a group, or how it is to be a project leader. But it could be anything within the organization. Everything is for 1 year. And the thought behind it is also, if you would do it for a second year, yes, you would be better at it, but you would learn less yourself, because you've learned the most in that first year that you do it. And the second year that you would do it, you would actually take away the opportunity from someone else to do it and to have that first year of learning. So that is a very important aspect of our organization. So this year, I'm the executive vice president for Europe. That means like the chair of all the national organizations within Europe. And in 2015, Ismail that just spoke, he was the president of the organization, also a position for 1 year, where he traveled the world and visited countries, national organizations, to see what they are doing and to encourage them to continue growing the organization and develop themselves personally. The organization has 4 pillars. One is the personal development that is really linked to everything we do. We keep in mind that we do this to learn from it. The goal is not necessarily to set up the project and to contribute to the community. The goal is to learn from doing that, and then in your future career you can take these learning opportunities that you gained and apply them in your daily job. And that is where the real impact then occurs, when you maybe reach a position very high in a company or in the government, and then you can make decisions that really contribute to the community, because that's what you learned during your time in JCI. And of course, reaching such a position, developing your leadership skills is something you learned within JCI. So the first pillar is personal development. And the second is business. We are a business network because we're all young professionals aged between 18 and 40. Not all of us are entrepreneurs, but many of us are. Not all of us are managers or leaders in a company, but many are. And if you're not an entrepreneur yet or a leader yet, you will be inspired by your peers in the organization to develop yourself and maybe start your own company or become a leader in the company that you work for. Then another pillar is community. As I said, we like to do projects to contribute to a better society. We like to do projects on a very local level, with the thought behind it, if we have 5,000 local organizations worldwide that all do something at their local level, the global impact is huge. And then we are an international network, and that means of course, we are in 120 countries, but we also aim to increase the understanding between different cultures, between different national organizations, so that you can learn from each other how things are done in other national organizations or in other countries, and that you can, with that, also, again, develop yourselves, but also contribute to world peace. If you meet each other, you can become friends together, then you will not start a war together. That's the thought behind that. So we are not specifically doing things for women entrepreneurship, but we constantly inspire our members to challenge themselves, to step into a position that they haven't done before. And a few years ago, I became the editor-in-chief of the national magazine of JCI the Netherlands. And I've never been involved in creating a magazine before, but I was curious what it was like. So I stepped forward and said, I want to be the editor-in-chief of that magazine. And now I know what it's like to create a magazine. And that's just, great to learn. And because JCI is a kind of safe environment where people can take positions that they maybe find interesting, but that are maybe a bit scary. If you do them in the real world, you have a lot of opportunity on your shoulders. So it's great to have this opportunity in a safe space to try out something, to see how you do when you would do it. And I believe that especially for women who are often not so confident about their skills, it is nice to have a safe environment where they don't feel threatened or they don't feel like a lot of responsibility. What if they make a mistake? That they can just try it and then see for themselves that they are able to do something. And when they have gained this courage within their role in JCI, they are more likely to do something like that in their real life as well. So I think that is something that works especially for women and for those people who just need a bit of confirmation that they are able to do something. Other than that, also in JCI, we have personal development courses that analyze like personality types and how other personality types are motivated. So working together with other people that have a different personality type than you, and analyzing like what motivates you and what makes you happy. And it happens quite often that after such a leadership weekend where you analyze your personality type and motivation, that people make different life decisions because they discover like the job that I have now doesn't really fit with me. and I'm just going to take that step and start my own company and do what I really love to do, because now I discovered this is what I really love. And so it happens quite a lot that people become entrepreneurs within their membership, even though we don't tell them you have to be an entrepreneur, but we inspire them to follow their heart and do what they're really good at. And then this year, of course, is a very different year. Normally, Ismail has been traveling for an entire year when he was the president, but of course this year traveling was not possible. But I have seen it as an opportunity as well. One, of course, we are here to learn, and we are not here to do things perfectly. And with a different year like this, we've had a great opportunity to learn how to do things differently. So if you're looking at did we get out of this year what we wanted from it, and because it's only 1 year to lead, we can only do this for 1 year. I think it was a unique opportunity to do things differently and to learn from that, and also to give people the opportunity that don't have the money to travel to a conference, to give them the opportunity to join online. So also this year has given us great opportunities. I think that would be enough from my side.
Yeah, thank you for the encouragement, by the way. Actually, that's really great to hear this motivation and do things differently. And I know how Ismail was traveling in 2015, and it was really even it bothered me. And now you are experiencing something totally different, but that's really good. And there are some advantages. Actually, after Olena's speech, I would like to direct a question about that, because COVID changed many things for women entrepreneurs. So that would be really great to hear from you, and what are the advantages, disadvantages, and what is waiting for us for the following years. Thank you very much, Mariam, for your speech, and actually that's really great to learn more about GCI. And now I would like to give the floor to Olena, and then Olena, just a quick reminder, we are getting late, so please take your 8 minutes very efficiently, use your time. And thank you. And the floor is yours, Olena. She is a senior specialist in human capital development at European Training Foundation.
Yes.
And please.
Thank you very much. Do you see my screen shared?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so I would like to be as brief as possible, and as you know, I prepared more slides just to have them for the participants for the reference later. So that I will just touch upon a couple of issues that I consider very important for this panel. And I have to just admit that I'm very impressed with the interest and with the attention to this forum and with the number of participants that are joining our discussion. So I hope that my observations could be useful and provide some inspiration for them. So I'm choosing only the points which are most relevant for the, just 1 second. Yeah, okay. So I will try to make my presentation also as evidence-based as possible, because I have a possibility to refer to 10 years of the Small Business Act based assessments in 23 countries, and they were going on during the last 10 years, jointly with OECD, European Commission, EBRD, and ETF were part of it, looking at the human capital issues. And the latest assessment, which covered Turkey, was finished in 2019. So my intervention is based on the issues related to human capital, and I was the person who was together with Lida Akita present in this panel. So we were looking at human capital issues, entrepreneurial learning, women's entrepreneurship, and SME skills in Turkey. And also, I was the one who was doing the women's entrepreneurship overall overview in the Southeast Europe and Turkey region. So to say that there were a couple of interesting observations. I will not go through them. I will just go to the recommendations. So I highlighted for you the recommendation related to the need for consolidated vision and targeted cross-sectoral evaluation of the women's entrepreneurship policies to refine the national concept, because the overall Turkey was one of the leaders in the region in terms of how the government organizes support to women's entrepreneurship policies, and how the cooperation is done together with the key players, with national organizations, with international partners, networks, etc. So this recommendation was related to the issue also. The other recommendation was related also to the issue of the overall development of entrepreneurship key competence. And I was very happy that Malahap already mentioned this when she was referring to education, human capital, and entrepreneurship key competence. So we were explicitly saying in this assessment, and this was a joint recommendation from the international partners and from the Turkish government, that there is a need to try to rely on available, reliable instruments for development of different key competences, including the entrepreneurship key competence, which is not only needed for developing and for launching, developing, sustaining new businesses, but also to every citizen for life transition, for managing the crisis moments, for managing successful careers and work-life balance. So this competence is very important. And I would like to just share with you a couple of maybe lessons that we learned, and also hint about some tools that are available. I will name them, but if you would like to know more, please address me with questions. I could provide you with references. So the first recommendation I would like to mention is that there is a real need to target actions and resources very well. And Ismail mentioned that, yes, there is always the first request that comes to different organizations that support entrepreneurship and women's entrepreneurship in particular, the need for resources. But there is a huge issue of how these resources are used. And so to support the human capital side of women's entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in general, there is a need to really focus on training needs analysis and distinguish which programs should cover, should be designed in a gender neutral way, so that they should be available to all entrepreneurs. And if we talk about startup training, there's no need to provide separate, separately delivered training for women on startup, because women will be then competing and collaborating with men when launching and developing their businesses. So doing this training together would really help. Not to get trained in this artificial, more or less, environment. But then there must be focused, gender-specific programs and support measures that would really go beyond the general SME training courses. And one of the issues which is very important for women's entrepreneurship, and it has been and it will be for the future, it's building awareness in the wider society that, first of all, women's entrepreneurship is really important. It brings huge economic value. It's important for national growth and competitiveness. And so we should act through different media promotion campaigns, showing role models and rewarding entrepreneurship. And also I want to mention something which was also already said by the previous speakers, that collaboration with women's entrepreneurship NGOs, networks, and communities is very important, because in women's entrepreneurship, these networks and organizations are the closest, and they have very active women entrepreneurs themselves who know the issues and would be very effective in implementing budget financed delegated programs and cost share, and also participate in the policy development and monitoring on women's entrepreneurship. So one of the big issues always mentioned when we speak about women's entrepreneurship is lack of self-efficacy, lack of ambition in women to embark into risk-taking, very competitive environment of entrepreneurship, and seen as a less secure way of gaining resources. So for us, those who are interested in women's entrepreneurship, one of the key issues is develop these key competences and skills that support self-efficacy, ability to take risks, use opportunities, and that this support should be available through lifelong learning, and both through formal education and non-formal learning from the early age. I just show you a couple of instruments that are available from the European Union. And the EntreComp is the European Entrepreneurship Competence Framework, which provides in 8 levels in progression the specific learning outcomes which are needed for every citizen to be entrepreneurial, to be creative, to be innovative, and to be able to manage resources, and to be able to plan, design well the actions and work in teams. There is also DIGCOMP, Digital Competence Framework from the EU. All these frameworks have been developed under the leadership of JRC, Joint Research Center of the European Commission. And so the European Digital Competence Framework is a very important tool for developing digital competence of all citizens, including women and women entrepreneurs. And the LifeComp is the latest framework, which is at the early stage of its development. It targets the personal, social, and learning to learn competence. I have been working with all these frameworks very practically in designing programs, in designing national standards for education, and I was part of the development of the LifeComp. So I have these slides for all the 3 frameworks, but I'll skip them now, and you could refer to them later. Another issue which I wanted to mention quickly in my presentation, and I was happy that Ismail was also mentioning the importance of the development of ecosystem. I'm showing you one example from the Babson Global, from the Babson College, and they are seen as leaders in promoting and helping the countries to design entrepreneurship growth ecosystems. There are lots of different concepts of ecosystems, different images, different recommendations. I would like to give you some hints which come from my own experience and from the lessons that I could share. So first of all, I started at the beginning saying that there was a recommendation to have a common vision for women's entrepreneurship, cross-sectoral vision. This means linking different parts of the government and non-government actors, players. So the ecosystem requires combining these efforts around the common vision and common goal. And also it's important that every partner of the ecosystem has willingness to invest something into these common goals. So it has to be active engagement. Ecosystems are about leadership. So there must be organizations and people who will take leadership and who will help the others to collaborate. So also ecosystems may look perfect on the paper, but they are not perfect pictures. So you start and you go and you keep developing as you proceed in achieving some of the small goals and aiming at the larger goals. So if you know who are the main partners in your potential ecosystem, you link up with them, you identify what are the missing slots in this ecosystem, and then gradually you will engage new partners who will be filling in these slots. And also, the ecosystems have to be very flexible. They are based on negotiation because there are many interests, many visibility requirements, but it is important to be focused on the overall goals. And as I was talking about the key competences, I just want to say that to build the ecosystem, to be part of the ecosystem, you also need key competences. So some of the smaller key competences that I'm mentioning here is mobilizing resources, learning from experience, working with the others. These are the specific competences that you could demonstrate when you are part of the ecosystem. And you could also, you could further develop these competences and you could contribute to the development of these competences in the others. And finally, I would like to show you one slide with a couple of resources which came out very recently from the EU. In particular, there was an EntreComp playbook. So if you open online this playbook, it's from the European Commission, from the JRC side. site, you will see that there are many practical tools and hints and different instruments how to develop entrepreneurship key competence. Very practical, you can take them and use them. And one of them is how to build the ecosystem map. So this will refer to my last point. Also, there is a new initiative which was part of Erasmus Plus program. This is Entrecomp Edu, which is entrepreneurship competence framework for educators, for teachers and trainers who are working with the others to develop entrepreneurship key competence. It's the upper right hand corner, which says developing teachers' entrepreneurial education skills. And the bottom right corner is Beachcomp at Work. This is the toolkit for those who would like to develop digital key competence in the labor market intermediary organizations. So I stop here. Thank you very much. I stop sharing my screen, and I'm happy to answer any questions and provide any resources to what I mentioned in my presentation. Thank you. Over to you, Oya.
Thank you very much, Olena. It was really a great pleasure to listen the details. Actually, we have very limited time, and I would like to ask some questions to you, and you are, please feel free to answer. Is COVID-19 a crisis for women entrepreneurs? And it also provided us some opportunities to do things differently, including creating a greater acceptance of remote working models and accelerating digitalization, increasing the visibility of alternative forms of leadership. But what are your reflection or input from your ongoing work, and would you like to answer this? Thank you, Olena.
I could start, I could say just a few words. I was mentioning the importance of key competences. And to me, we are all facing challenges, all of us, including us, the panelists. We are facing challenges with technologies. We are all forced to act the way we have never acted. So this requires a lot of capacities and qualities that we were using sometimes from time to time, and now suddenly all success of our work depends on them. So I think this is very important to use this as a learning opportunity. And my colleagues were mentioning before that, yes, these are challenges, but these are opportunities. So we need to be conscious that we are born with some skills, we are born with some competences, we develop them throughout lives, but we have to focus on developing them further. And this might be a new focus for the support organizations, for the partners, to really see, not to become so sophisticated in terms of technologies we use, but to work on the how we take this, how we deal with challenges, and also how we collaborate among ourselves to still achieve success while we could not meet face to face. There's a lacking human touch, and this is a very important moment for us not to get frustrated. And life comp, which was mentioned in my last slide, is the ability to be effective in collaboration with the others, and first of all with yourself. One last point, effective means taking rest and not working 24 hours. Women in general and women entrepreneurs tend to work a lot. So we have to take time, switch off our computers, get off the screens, get off work, and really take care of our well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, Olena. Would you like to contribute to Olena, or?
I may share in brief, Oya, maybe our experience in last months. Now we observe that access to knowledge and experience sharing due to the digital tools, and also to build the skills, become easier. So this is the positive side of the digital world. Maybe the challenge during this period that we are facing is due to the infrastructure. in both sides. Same applies for young people, but also for women entrepreneurs. Maybe they don't have the full access to, or required, let's say, access or good infrastructure to access all these kind of tools, as well as the mobility, because now we are talking about EE trade or EE exports wisely, and it brings opportunities, while not having a good knowledge about mobility is the challenge to develop during this period. In our sites, we are more connected. We are having more communication during this period. But to finalize and bring projects down, it takes longer time. Prior to that, it was faster, I believe.
Thank you, Smile.
I may also contribute a very brief contribution. Women empowerment, economic empowerment has become more critical after the COVID-19. So I think we have to be also careful about our supports for the survival of the women-led companies. Access to finance, all the financial instruments I think are more important in this period. Because although the situation has not been reflected into the statistics in Turkey yet, there are many projections revealing that the women employment and all the situation of women in the labor market will be affected disproportionately due to the impact of the COVID-19. So I think, to me, it is also very important to support the women-led companies financially.
Thank you very much. And actually, how do you see the role of the governmental institutions in supporting women entrepreneurs? And in particular, during the COVID situation, and
Oh yeah, may I just try to reply to your question? It refers to what I said briefly before. I think this is a win-win situation to engage women's entrepreneurship organizations, networks, and communities into supporting women entrepreneurs, because on the one hand, they badly need resources at this moment. On the other hand, the government needs effectiveness and efficiency. And in women's entrepreneurship, this is a very specific area. If in some other areas we say we require structured partnership, we need this formalized, etc. In women's entrepreneurship, non-structured, informal partnerships work perfectly. So, and the quality, sometimes to tackle a very sensitive issue related to willingness to embark in entrepreneurship, you need somebody who speaks the same language with you. And also the quality of support in mentorship, etc., could be very high from these organizations. So I would call the governments to really dedicate some part of the budget, increase this share of the budget to support the implementation by women entrepreneurship organizations of this target group, women entrepreneurs.
Actually, we have started a bit late. We have many questions, but unfortunately...
Can you pick some, Oya? Can you pick
yes,
some questions?
Yes, please.
No, it's some questions that we have. I don't know if you can hear me now, but...
we can hear you, Lida, please.
Because there is some question from a lady who's saying, I started up a company on paragliding equipment production in Fethiye Muğla. Yes, my partner is a Czech woman, and as our work is technical textile, and all our workers are women. So we are just accepted. We were just accepted by COSGAP support. And it says, as a manager, my main problem is to reach reliable information, because Turkey offers various expert methods. So maybe, Pinar, you can say something to this kind lady that has a concrete question.
I'm so pleased, but actually I got really difficulties to hear you, Lida.
Okay,
Will you just tell me? I couldn't hear properly, Lida.
I may repeat it if it is clear. Okay. We have question from Ayşe Bayrak, and she started up a company on pre-lighting equipment production in Fethiye, and her partner is a Czech woman. And as our work is technical textile, all our workers as women at the moment. We were just accepted to COSGAP support. As a manager, my main problem is to reach reliable information, and Turkey offers various export methods, but government institutions are unable to give enough info how to do it. For example, we are trying to make a micro export by national post or export to foreigners with special image, but it is impossible to learn how. When I ask from government institutions, their answer is always, it is not our field. You can ask your accountant or your customs accountant. And it is not a common way of export. They don't know as well.
Thank you, Oya. Actually, also, I now checked from the chat part. Thank you, Aishan, for the questions. Actually, you are so right. The government, as COSGAP or also other government organization, our aim is not to be only to support finance or support programs. There should be well-defined mechanisms also to provide guidance, counseling to the SMEs, to the entrepreneurs. For this kind of issues, I strongly encourage you to communicate. You may send me an email. Also, I will follow the situation. Especially in COSGAP, as I already mentioned, our COSGAP experts, they are ready to provide any kind of support and direct you to the right support and to provide you information. For sure, we cannot be expert on each topic, but at least we may direct you to the right person, and we may try to provide you information. In that case, as I already mentioned, we are part of COSME program. And under COSME program, under access to market component, we have Enterprise Europe Network. And Enterprise Europe Networks consisted, we have 11 consortium in Turkey. And under this 11 consortium, we have chambers, we have NGOs, especially the intermediary organization, either providing support to the SMEs or representing SMEs. If you communicate with the responsible consortium in your area in Muğla, I will get your contact and I will inform you. But thank you again for these questions. I encourage all the participants to check COSGAP website and to find their partners, the contact point of the European Enterprise Network, because they have the knowledge. At least they are responsible to provide you advice services, qualified services. They may either provide you some guidance or they may provide you training and counseling services, because the main aim of the network is to establish those kind of relations. And thanks to you, congratulations, you already established a cooperation with a Czech Republic company, Woman. We will be so pleased to have more about your request. I will you will have all our information, and I will also write my email. Please communicate with myself. I will direct you to the right person to receive the information.
Thank you. Oh yeah, can you see there is another question there, because it's also the Balkan Women Entrepreneur Association, where Turkey is part of it. So they are giving some questions and comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Lida. Which question you mean? I was checking also social media accounts, and I had another question in my mind, and on the other hand, we are out of our time.
Saying, I think there is no enough and efficient communication among the governmental institutions and the entrepreneurs. And the lack of efficient communication may seize the process or entrepreneurs, and they give up their effort.
Yeah.
So
From Damla
Can ask the
Gandhi.
person to-
She says that she thinks there is no enough and efficient communication among the government institutions and to entrepreneurs in this field. And the lack of efficient communication may cheese the process or entrepreneurs to give up on the process or applications. I believe this should be improved. Actually, we received another question, and she is asking if such entrepreneurship programs are designed for only women in Turkey or other women from neighboring countries can also participate.
Oya, actually, I answered some of the questions during the panelists making their speeches to save time. I answered some questions, but as a quick answer for that question as well, for COSGAP support, all enterprises establishing their company in Turkey are eligible for COSGAP support. The only condition is to be an entrepreneur establishing a company in Turkey, and they may apply for COSGAP support.
Thank you, Pınar.
Oya, can I answer part of that question?
Please.
If it works, I don't know.
We can hear you in English and it works now. Please feel free to add, Lida.
Well, I excuse again. It's because Pınar mentioned about the Turkish one, no, for the COSGAP, but also, as we know, there are so many regional programs.
Mhm.
And as it was mentioned there, I'm saying now Western Balkans and Turkey, because there are so many regional frameworks, bottom-up, driven by the countries of the region, being it bilateral, but a lot of it is from the Commission side. For example, we have the regional council for the region, and Turkey is also a big contributor, not part just from the Commission, but contributes funds for the regional council. We have the women entrepreneurs of Western Balkan and Turkey, and they take part in all these networks and the EU program. Also, because I put before a question about the grooming of the young women entrepreneur, there are so many Erasmus programs, and Turkey, for you to know, it just published a report, is the biggest user of the Erasmus funds. The countries, even EU member states, which means that there is a lot of work from bottom up, from schools, from institutions, and these institutions and schools that apply, they are all done in partnership. Now, a big question is, how do we capture all this ongoing work, and it's brilliant work, since I follow on everyday basis, and since for Turkey especially, but also in all the Western Balkans, how do we capture it? How does the system, since we were talking about the public institution, how does the public system, being it the Ministries of Education, being it also the regional education authorities, they build on this wealth of knowledge, innovation, work being done, and how also these teachers, Turkey has thousands of teachers that are innovative teachers in Europe and in the world, and they win awards. How does the Ministry of National Education work with these teachers for the upcoming of the education and training program for the teacher professional development? How do they work with the universities for the teacher training? What about the private sector? Turkey is the most active private sector who apply for all, they do their own work, and they are in partnership with the national institution and especially Ministry of Education, but they apply in all the EU funded programs, from Erasmus, from COSME, from Horizon, and really you should see how much innovation they produce. Sometimes, and I'm afraid it happens in our country, because we look internally, our jobs and our innovation of a given country is more appreciated outside the country than within the country and within the system itself to build on it. So it's just a reflection from my growing work with the country and with the system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lida. We are out of time. That's why we have received many questions actually, and but with your permission, I would like to close the session. We will have another technical session in the afternoon. So, but I can get your last words, and then we can close if you want.
And Oya, for a reminder, we have left the emails on the chat, and we have encouraged people, please contact, and we will do our best not only to connect with the others, to provide the information needed. In my mail, I've already received 20 emails. But also because we organize so many discussion platforms, and we would like to invite people. In all our platforms, we do it as EPF, with the partners as EPF, with EBRD, as EPF with the Commission, in all the frameworks. So thank you. You can write, no problem. Thank you.
Oh yeah, just maybe one thing. There was a question about where do we get support, information about overall support to women's entrepreneurship. The WeGate, the European Union platform, European Commission supported platform for women entrepreneurs, is being relaunched now. So we need to wait a couple of weeks. In December, there will be a new version of this platform with lots of information. So it's called WeGate, and I'm pasting it in the chat now, the name of the platform. I'm sure many people know it.
Thank you so much. And we would be happy to share your presentation and contact details in our event website. And please feel free to ask your questions and get in touch for further information. Unfortunately, it is really impossible to cover all the questions, but we have received many questions from social media accounts and here. But thank you very much for these speaks and priceless information, in my opinion. And thank you for joining us for the first session of TBD Women Entrepreneurs Forum. And we really appreciate you being here. And we will have the second thematic session in the afternoon at 1:30 in Central European time and 3:30 in Turkey time. And the second thematic session will be on private and public sources of funding in the EU and Turkey. And we will have speakers from European Commission, IFC, World Bank, EIB, EBRD, and TEPA. So even we are late. I saw 108 participants from Zoom accounts, and I received information that we have around like 300-400 participants from social medias. And even yesterday we had 404 participants on Zoom and 725 followers from social media. So thank you for your interest, and actually this is your success. I'm glad to have such a really esteemed speakers, and thank you for your contribution again. Thank you for your time and participation.
Thank you.
See you in the afternoon. Bye bye.
And good luck to women entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Bye guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.